brother. Greetings, everyone. My name is Wade the Wallaby, and um, hi guys, it's me, Wade the Wallaby. Sorry, it was a bit of weirdness, but gosh darn it. All right, so it's me, Wade the Wallaby, back again. Um, um, so what we have here is this. Um, a computer, or I should say laptop. Now, you probably never seen these compact computers in the 1980s or 90s. Brother, okay. These computers were basically very, I have no idea and what purpose they were serving. I have no idea what the history back in. The manual is over there, but was it's been a while since I started this up. I wonder. Um. Oh, good. It's over there. I think. I wonder if I could play Halo on here because it is. Well, I think it might be a little bit, but it may. Um, this is from the '90s. This still had AOL, Mega Online, which beep beep. I better I try to figure out to get this thing on the World Wide Web or the internet. I told my dad a long time ago when we were at Macro Center because I was looking for a plug for this for the internet. It only used um it doesn't have a regular cord. It has like a phone cord, which is weird. I mean, it's not, maybe it's weird for you guys, but it's, or maybe if you're like, you probably used to use, I'm not used to this. So there's no way I could get up YouTube basically on here. My goal was to sign in onto YouTube and then, yeah, Windows 98 and just watch videos on here. But apparently my dad said, no, that's not gonna work at all. And I was like, well, so of course, AOL. And I have a 100% guarantee that it's not going to work. Now, of course, there is a person that I subscribe to, or two people, that basically taught me about, or LGR, or Lazy Game Reviews. He actually explained about the process. And what I found out, and it's pretty basic. Now, I believe this is my dad's. My dad never used this. He was playing up, but I thought this was broken. So after years and, well, not neglect, it wasn't a very safe environment. It was a cool area, not too hot, not too cold, but it was just a perfect temperature in hibernation. And that's what probably, there was no people that go in there. There was no dust at all. And pretty much it stayed down there since we moved here until I grabbed it and started, messing with it. So if I'm not using it, I should put it back down there inside the thing and put it back where everything was so it would be stored, so it will be safe. However, I am not done with this, and that's the reason why I still have it there. So I brought it back. It seems to be working fine. Good. Now the problem is I wish I had a mouse, but I had this mouse pad, which the frame rate on here is terrible. No, it's good. My dad probably made this a beast. So the good news is that this computer here, which I probably will have to put there we go, stream camera, my webcam right here, and show you guys what I'm seeing. I know this might be close up. There's AOL right there. Yeah, that's the only get close I can get. Because if I turn the charger right here, might fall. So I have it right here, and I make sure. So this is what you're seeing right now. There's really not much to it. But I may actually put this somewhere around here because it might. Oh dear. Oh no. Come back, you webcam. Come back. Don't fail on me. Huh. Okay. All right. This is kind of easy than I expected. Maybe. All right. Oh dear, that might be a bad spot. I should put it up here where it was on my speaker. Okay. What should I do here? Hey, why are you starting up? Oh dear. A bit of a. On my disc here. Ugh, it's a goose stuff. Ugh. Oops. Oodaloo. Oh no. Happy Wheels, not Happy Wheels. Hot Wheels, not Happy Wheels. I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna get out. Seems like this computer is a bit of files. There's not much. It's like barely any files. It looks like it was just brought up, installed this and that and that, and there really isn't that much to it. Maybe there wasn't that much things back then because usually I have a Steam should be very close. Steam, Half-Life surely could play. Maybe Half-Life might be able to play. However, I don't have a copy of Half-Life beta or alpha because however on Reddit you can download it, but I'm not gonna involve of course I don't want to get myself in trouble in case that there might be things that will infringe whatever it's called, and I don't want to go against that and get myself terminated because I'm gonna do a very important talk and stay on YouTube for about 5 hours of watching and watch. I'm going to stare at my account, stare for 5 hours. I know that sounds crazy, but streaming and then looking at it and and maybe stream on my iPad. So in case if I do get terminated, um, this film might cut off, but the stream on there won't be cut off. So you guys can watch me, my final words. So, however, if we survive, then I survive. If my account doesn't survive, I don't survive. So, if everything is okay, then we should be young. Because we're all in Alaska for a year, and which sucks that, it's been months. So I keep thinking that I'm on my old channel. So, yeah. And obviously, at least I have a lot of my things on here. And there's not that much to do on here. There's literally not much things to do on here, except there's some drawing things on here. But with a mouse like this, I wonder if you ask a furry artist to say, hey, can you draw something on here to try to see? And they'll be like, I'm not going to use this type of thing because I usually use a pen or something. Usually when I look on it, oh, by the way, they did update Fur Infinity website, and occasionally I went back to the classic version because, and then of course, it doesn't save your password when it changed, which is kind of odd. So I need to find my things to look up for my password, just to get on there, fix some things because I really want to see the new version. To get used to it, occasionally when it got like, I knew they were gonna have like, the thing classic one, and I really wanted to see all the options. The entire account, and not account, but the Furfinity website. If you go on there, you should see what I see. But what I see is different because yada yada. So yeah, if you know what Furfinity is basically it's a filtered out website for anything for furry art that allows you to safely filter out. Well, it is really cool. It's like where the furry art even begins, and you can be able to see. Now, if you're not furry, then that's okay because pretty much there is about a lot of people on there. There's a few, actually, it's, I guess, 50-50 of straight and, of course, bisexual. So there really is like a half and half, maybe. I'm not sure. But, yeah, that's kind of odd because we're talking about something that came out in 2005, which apparently I saw something on YouTube that explained what the Furfinity came from. And it actually came from the first time ever, it was IMVU, which is yada yada. So basically, I have this stuff. I haven't explained to my mom what they have changed, but this thing is kind of getting hot, which I do expect of an old computer that's in the 90s. There really isn't that much, except for just play Hot Wheels all day, which it kind of gets boring because it's all basic. I do love the soundtrack. It's a really cool soundtrack on there. I did play it, and it didn't seem to have any copyright things because it is a soundtrack, which I found something on Mario, which there's one Mario music on it that has copyright, which that's kind of strange. And that's why there's remixes and stuff. Like Minecraft soundtrack is the basic stuff about you don't like there is music out there that they say do not sell because it's actually free. Okay, see, my mouse is like my cursor is like it not does it lag, it like the screen. I guess that's normal. Maybe there must be a fix to that. I guess I have to talk to I guess I have to comment on some of my subscribers that have subscribed to Steve. Hey, I have this computer and I need some little bit of info and give me help, and maybe LGR or 8-bit guy will help me out, or somebody else in the community, because I'm pretty sure that there's a bunch of people out there that have a lot of knowledge of what this thing does, except for my dad, because he's not a historian. He's a He is a future man. He gives up all technology. Oh, by the way, I know this might sound, like something that I would never do. I'm actually going to shut this off. Because if I'm not using it, then why would it be on here? So I could just do a shutdown in here. Just, shut down. It's so hard. Mouse is the sensitivity. That's what's going on. The sensitivity is so like. There we go. It's off. So I'm charging. I heard an owl over there, and I tried. So basically, look at this. This is mine. So technically, and oh no, that doesn't sound great. Unplug it. Okay, here we go. Now it should be. No metal. Don't make it touch metal because that's bad. Oh God, I was thinking about. Okay, I guess I'll unplug this now since it is not in use. What the hell is that noise? There we go. Okay. All right. Someone's doing some skate over there. Or so scratching their tires. I'm tired of looking at you, Barasmus. I think I should put this away. Maybe, yeah, I'm gonna put this in there so it can be, minimize damage possible. So this is a bag that came in. So the bag charger. So I did charge it up a little bit, so I'm gonna put everything in there so it can be stored properly. So any contaminants is what it was actually when I got it out. And I remember when I started booting it up, it was really scary. I think I did a stream on it maybe. I think. I'll look on my channel to see if I did any videos or streams on it. And they'd have some floppy disks, and because I love to collect. I'm starting to collect anything that's old in our family or in this house. Oh, about this this here. So apparently, I know you guys may tried this before, but if you had, you probably had experienced this. And unfortunately, I told my dad about this, text him and stuff. But so this thing is I bought from Microsensor, which I don't think is there anymore. I'm not sure. It's somewhere in St. Louis. And basically, I tried many times to get this, and this basically here is I bought this right here. So yeah, so basically this is an add-on. I think it's just install it back on yada yada. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna do it anyways because maybe if I negotiate with my dad, you know what? No, because the registration thing on there, and if I do that, then I might get in trouble. But I'll do it when I am stop streaming and have my spare time. And man, this sucks. But in the most case, yada yada. You know what? I think I should get like a SpaceX shirt. That'd be awesome. So that was kind of boring, but at least it worked for a little bit, but I'm not going to be using it. But if you have any suggestions of what to do, let me know in the comments and I will reply. Don't worry, I'm always on my notification bell. Always. I'm always looking back, and if, unless the people start spamming them. Oh, by the way, before I go, that person that was hacked, Karma Charger, which was Neil Scene, he got terminated. which I thought was bad, but then it was good because it was spam and misleading. So yeah, sadly for the channel was removed, but the other part is at least well, yeah. Okay, kids, for your own sake, do not ever listen to anybody, no matter if it's somebody you will never know. I know you might take the risk, but even though it might be in the future, maybe there could be a fake YouTuber administrator that will basically, will say, "Hey, you did this and that. I'm going to terminate you." And I don't think that would be believable. But please, and they offer you something, don't listen to them. Don't listen, unless because they would never do that. They would just terminate you right away, but without warning you, because why not? So don't get worried about it. Just don't do anything bad. However, actually, Fur Affinity is actually really easy. There's like, the only thing I have to worry about is it's so easy. They only added 3 things into their thing by the update. That's like 3 things, that rules. That's like, actually, to be honest with you, may not read it, but I could just, just go by the flow. And if I'm okay, then as long as I'm staying what I'm doing, I'm okay. But usually when a big company has a bunch of things and it says, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, please don't do this, seriously don't do this, please don't do that, don't ever do this, don't do this, or it will basically be very angry. So basically, and it's probably like basically shorter than YouTube's terms of service. When you read that entire thing, it's like, okay, maybe you just look at it and you'll see. And since then, over the years, I bet there is a bunch of things are added, and pretty much everyone's just going to have their heads pinned down because of this, But when you go on website, for example, for Fur Affinity, it's just like simple. Maybe you don't post videos. I guess you could put links on there for your channel and stuff. But it's so like really. It's like, all right, for example, if you're on Garry's Mod, which I had this problem before, I have been banned permanently from Garry's Mod on a server. And it was actually my favorite server. It was called Xenogen Gaming. Xenogen Gaming was my favorite server. It was so fun. It was just, wow. And how did I become like this? I was being silly. So I started spamming. Of course, I was like, I've been there for like 3 years on that server, and I've been promoted pretty high. I think I was going to be like, an admin. Maybe, a couple years later, I'll become a freaking admin or lower admin. And then they just permanently banned me. And I tried to contact the owner of the server, and I was so young. And this was back in, I guess 2015. This was back in 2015. And how young was I back in 2015? And it was really sad. I think I was crying, and my mom didn't know what to do. And it was just, my life was crushed. And of course, so I decided to move on, go to another server, which is called Party Thing. And then all of a sudden, the Party server disappeared, which I guess they didn't have enough money to pay or donators. And I asked my mom, why can't I not donate? And she didn't understand at this time that, why would I donate some money to this loser that I don't know? Donate money to the server, so it can be run. So, and then you get like perks and stuff. And they do. If you see other people get perks, they do give you perks, just like what they're doing in Fur Affinity, which they call it FA Plus. It's the same thing as you getting a premium subscription on YouTube. It's the same thing, except it's like $5 by putting plus 5 per month. And then you look at YouTube, it's like $20 per month. I think I'll be like asking my mom, how come this is like $5 and all they need is just to keep the website running? And that's really what they need to minimize ads. It's like Wikipedia. Wikipedia needs donations at all costs. And they actually, rich people must donate or else they get in trouble, which, I mean, it's like a combination of and this and that, you know, and it's like, I have to get all these taxes to these losers. And really, these taxes are actually useful because they will eventually, if we don't pay enough taxes to America, we probably will look really sad. Everything won't be as updated. Roads would be extremely bad. And I guess technology would be minimized and there'd be no rocket launches for NASA. NASA would be like so depressed. It'd be like run rocket launch and it would be like a tiny rocket, and they'd be like, "Oh, we ran out of money. Let's just wait for 11 years until we get enough budget." It's like we're never going to the moon again. And then the next president would be like, gobble up all the money, and then be like, "I love space." I mean, I guess, but obviously, remember that time when pretty much the Apollo missions, that was pretty much the good peak. That really, but we're going back. NASA says that we're going back to the moon no matter what the cost is. They're going back. They have enough research. If we have the technology to colonize the entire moon, but we still need some practice. We've only been there just maybe a few days on the moon with humans. I mean, there was except for 13, but still. Well, I'm just going to say, through Apollo 8, through Apollo 17, that's how much craft has actually went, to the moon. Apollo 13 didn't make it to the moon. However, they basically really, but they were successful. It was a failure, but, they make it back. They did a really good job. You got Apollo 11, first man landing on the moon. Then you got Apollo 17, which was the last of all the Apollo missions, and that would be because the budget limits and the Soyuz was recycled or was finally decommissioned. And before that, JFK got assassinated, and that really turned down to a minimum. And then, of course, as soon as that president died, then the next president came around, vice president, yada yada. He said no, so he just cuts off the line of NASA with a thick butter knife. Bam, I think. Let me say this wrong. Cut the funding from there, and then they work on war. Because at this time, we got Vietnam. And actually, Vietnam was actually going on pretty far, when this, we were going to the moon at this time, making the SR symbol on Blackbird, which, I got a huge model of it right here. I brought it from we made this thing in the middle of this entire decade. Out of a few years, we went to the moon. We had Vietnam. We made this. That was just a quick time frame from the 60s and 70s. We really did a lot of technology. And then the 80s. The 80s call. They want you dead. It's a reference from a YouTube video that I saw. So it's not like a threat. It's just a reference. There's between a reference and a threat. A threat is not a reference. I'm not threatening. So there's, just a reference, all right? If you think that's the problem, then talk to those people, because if it's a reference, I promise you, if you really think this is never mind. Look at me. I can't even do anything right now. Oh God, a pain. What am I even doing? What am I doing? Oh yeah. So I'm guessing I'll just put to be fair with you, I have two same games, except one is older and one is newer, or constantly updating, because there is this Flight Simulator X Steam Edition, and then Flight Simulator Original one, which I used my dad. Just stick his buddy like, "Hey, you do it." And like, okay, he'd be like pressing buttons, install. Because back then I didn't know how to install, which actually it was easier to install, but when you put things to install, like mods and add-ons, that's a completely story. Now, obviously, I tried installing this on Steam version. However, you expect it. I can't find the file where it is. I did go to the file. I did browse for the file. I did. However, I didn't see it when I went back and I did it on there, or I should say the file without using file on here. So I believe it doesn't detect it. But unless I have to do it manually. I have to, unless if I have to take the entire file, which probably do a lot of politics, laws, stuff that messes up. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this thing on there. And I'm not sure if it's going to run okay, unless if I have to go back a little bit before to install this. Because when I did, it was already upgraded with the F18 and other stuff. And yeah, and I decided to install myself. So in case when Dad comes home, which probably be never, I'm gonna wait until his body comes through that front door, or I should say in the garage, or at least hear it. I'm gonna barge out and say, Daddy, 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 you need to do this, that, and that. So that is why. So he's already in Montana, over at Billings, Montana, and we don't know where he lives because he's hiding where he lives. He's basically trying to echo those people on YouTube that never show their face. Is exactly what he is, basically. He's starting to become one of those people that want to hide. And I don't want him. He's my daddy. My mom is, you see my mom. So that means, she doesn't mind being on camera. So I'm so excited that, or I should say webcam. Don't be so precise.